had a little accident last night, and it really messed up my ankle. Oh, I would really appreciate any sincere prayer on my behalf. I'm serious. It's not good, but anyway, just dumb, just thinking I can do things that I can't anymore. But okay, so laying in bed all night, I had this thought come to me early this morning. I was actually watching some YouTube videos, and there's a guy named Robert Breaker. He's a preacher, a Baptist preacher, King James Version Bible preacher. And I watch him occasionally. And I studied the Book of Mormon, and I just, how you get when you're not feeling too good. And he was talking about the election. It's a few days away, right? It's just around the corner. And he was talking about the election, and what came into my mind was our calling and election made sure. And I know this is an interesting topic, and there's a lot been written on it, and I've read Brother Bruce R. McConkie's brilliant thesis article, his thoughts on his calling, having someone have their calling and election made sure. I'm not on any pain meds other than some Advil or Aleve, so it's just is what it is. I apologize, but I had this thought, and I thought I would hobble up here and express it briefly here, and then get back with the leg elevated. I looked up a definition of election, and one of the definitions of election is to choose. So then I started thinking about the calling and election being made sure, and read several quotes, and went to the church website and read those. Like I say, when you're bedridden, you have all the time in the world, right? So the thought came to me, who's doing the choosing? Before I get into my thought, this isn't a replacement of everything that I read. It's an addition to, okay? I'm not saying I disagree with any of it. It's awesome, all wonderful. But in addition to that, here's another thought. That maybe the one doing the choosing isn't God. Maybe we are the one that are electing God. Okay, so stick with me for a minute, because if we say our calling and election is made sure, the traditional thinking on that, which I believe it, okay? But another way to think of it is this. But the traditional way is that you live your life such that God elects you. And because he elects you, your eternal destiny is made sure. Your eternal outcome is made sure. The thought came to me with this election is that collectively, millions and millions and millions, I just heard a report that 80 million people have already voted. So millions and millions of people are voting for one of two people, okay? One of two people. I know there's some other candidates out there, but let's just say President Trump and Joe Biden. Those are the two people that we vote for. So the thought came into my head is that one of those guys isn't choosing the masses. The masses are choosing one of those guys. So then the thought came to me that maybe that is another way to think of our calling and election made sure. It's not God choosing the masses or some among the masses, right? It's we are letting God prevail in our lives, and we are electing God. And here's the thought that I had on that, is that if our election is made sure by Him, it doesn't take away agency, but a pure form of agency is saying, I choose God, and I choose to let Him prevail in my life. That's agency for eternity. That's agency. And then that blessing of being chosen or choose to be chosen is an election, and I elect God. So this election, I've already voted, but I'm going to think of voting for God and His running mate. Oh my goodness. So sorry. I'm going to vote for God and His running mate, Jesus Christ. And I'm not comparing them to any candidate. Please don't write and say. But that's what I'm going to think in my mind from here on out. From here on out. And when I say from here on out, I mean until we either are caught up, quickened, terrestrialized, or I'm put in the ground and resurrected. I'm going to use my agency, and I'm going to choose God. I am going to elect God. That's what I'm going to do. So that's my election news today. And I hope you all do get out and vote if you haven't yet. And vote for the individual that would bless this country. Here's my thought on things. I'm not as stressed out as I was in 2016 for some reason. I've supported Donald J. Trump since then and continue to. And that's, I'm just putting it out there. If you've watched very many of my videos, you know that that's the case. I was really, really stressed, and I really felt like that there was some divine intervention in 2016. Now I'm not as stressed. I feel like things are close. By close, I think things are going to intensify greatly, regardless of who's president. I think we should still vote for the individual we think would do the best job in protecting religious freedom, innocent life, being aligned with Israel. I just think those three things are so important, and I've made many videos as to why. I guess I'm doing everything I can do. Maybe not everything. I'm doing a lot, right? We even had we had two Trump-Pence signs out on our lawn, but closer to the home, and they lasted just a few days before they were stolen. I might have mentioned that before in our whole neighborhood, that there wasn't a lot of signs, but there were a few, and all the Trump-Pence signs were taken. One of a comment on my channel here said, "Isn't it interesting how when you say Trump-Pence, it's like trumpets." And we're in that time when the trumpets are going to be sounding. Someone asked my opinion, and I doubt I said it. I don't really answer a lot of those, what do I think about this or that? Because quite frankly, I don't know a lot of things. I'm less knowledgeable about timelines and things like that. than many people out there. But I do have I guess an instinct maybe that has helped me out in life, the Holy Spirit, if you will, and I just feel like things are close and things are lining up. So in that sense, I feel like I can maybe be a voice of warning and be someone who can spread the good news about Jesus Christ and that He will rule and reign. And whatever tribulations we go through, I'm going through one right now, and I know it's nothing compared to many of you out there, the trials and tribulations that you've endured and are enduring. But nonetheless, it's humbling, to not be able to get around and do the things you want to do, and it just makes you realize how dependent we are on God, how dependent we are on His Son Jesus Christ. So that's just my thought for today in the election. Is that we are choosing to let God prevail in our lives, or we are electing God to prevail in our lives. I like that. We are electing God to prevail in our lives. So I'm not going to say choosing anymore. I'm going to say electing in honor of the 2020 election. And that is it. I'm going to go lay down.